Thank you all for being here today. As you can see, we've even got theme music for you coming on the back there. It means a lot to see so many people coming together for Autism Acceptance Month. This is a time where we pause, not just to raise awareness, but to truly embrace, uplift, and celebrate our autistic neighbors, friends, and family members. This month, like so many behind me, and I'm sure in the audience and watching, is deeply personal for me. I'm the proud dad of a brilliant and beautiful daughter, Addison, who's on the autism spectrum. Addison experiences the world in a way that's full of wonder, depth, and deep, and sometimes brutal honesty. That's why I'm here with the county executive and the entire council and our community to advocate and to say how important and vital it is that we protect and strengthen systems that help all people with autism thrive. We had a big win that you're going to hear about in a little bit. We have the Granthams here, Eric and Linda. Eric's ID law is going to become law, and we will have that on all IDs in the state of Maryland. You'll hear about that. One of the many ways we're lifting up this year's theme, which is celebrating differences. And I couldn't think of a more fitting message, especially right now. At a time when critical services and protections for folks in the disability community face unprecedented challenges nationwide, we're coming together here in Montgomery County to send a powerful message that we don't just acknowledge differences, we celebrate them. Across the country, support systems for folks, adults, and children with disabilities and autism are under threat. These are representative in shifts from special education funding to oversight to cuts to medical research and services. Now, and I'll be honest, these changes can have a profound impact on our ability to take care of those that we love. But today, we're here to say it with a resounding voice that we are reaffirming our commitment to building a community where everyone belongs. I've learned that when we recognize neurodiversity early and when we create supportive environments for those individuals in our schools, in our workplaces, in healthcare systems and communities, it benefits everyone in our community. It's not just about an accommodation. It's about recognizing the incredible strengths and perspectives that neurodivergent individuals bring to our community. So I'm inspired to be here today, and thank you all for joining. I'm going to have the county executive speak, and then we'll do some high-level introductions because there's a big group here, and then we will get into the proclamation. Mr. County Executive.
So thank you. Again, really happy to be here this morning. And autism spectrum disorder is a complex, lifelong developmental condition. It appears early in childhood and can impact the person's social skills, communication, relationships, and behavior. And the autism experience is different from everyone. Not everybody's case is the same, and the circumstances aren't the same. But what's consistent is the need for acceptance, and that's what I appreciate about the changing of the word from awareness to acceptance. I think we've been increasingly aware for a long time. Awareness is way different than acceptance. When somebody can apply for a job and have the chance to be evaluated and see, is there a role for them in an organization? That is when you've moved to acceptance. That goes beyond awareness, and I think it's really critical, that change in wording. Every autistic individual brings unique strengths and perspectives and talents, and this month we are moving beyond the awareness. In Montgomery County, we believe that acceptance is creating a world where everyone who has autism is connected to the support they need and when they need it. And based on Commission on People with Disabilities annual report, the number of students in MCPS between 3 and 21 diagnosed with autism has increased from 3,649 in 2022 to 4,205 in 2023. That's a 15% increase from year to year. As the number of children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder continues to increase, the demands for support and services increases as well. And thankfully, Montgomery County Public Schools provides a myriad of services for these children diagnosed with autism until they're 21 and or leave the school system. The supports are federally mandated, and hopefully they'll stay federally mandated. And we also have providers who provide direct support to children and adults with autism. I've been involved in the disability IDD community for a long time. I've had a foster son with Down syndrome for 50 years now. And so I know what it means to go from awareness to acceptance, from when people were terrified if you were walking around with a kid who moved a little bit differently or said things a little bit differently, and everybody would scatter because they didn't know what they were dealing with, to a time now when it's kind of normal. And there's an awareness of it, and you don't see the kind of public fear or consternation when confronted with people with differences. That's a big change. It's a change that, my kids noticed when that started to change when they were younger. They knew what it was like when everybody would move away from them and they were sitting in the stands at a baseball game. They didn't understand why that happened. When people came back, they understood that was a good thing. So I can see this at a personal level, and I know how important it is to people in the community that we do this work. We've got amazing resources, and the county is testified by all the people who are here behind us. We have the tools. We can make a dent in this. We can really make a difference for people, and that's what we're going to keep doing. And we don't need the federal government to do it. That's the one thing about local government that's really great. You can do what you need to do, even if nobody else recognizes what you need to do.
Thank you, Mr. County Executive. All right. We're going to have just remarks from a couple of our guests. We have EESNC Board President Azeb Adiri.
Hey, how are you?
Shorty. All right. Good morning, County Executive, Council members, distinguished guests, and all families of ASNC here. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the Ethiopian Eritrean Special Needs Community, my heart is full as I stand before you today. This recognition isn't just a ceremonial moment. It represents years of tears, struggles, and ultimately triumph for our families. When we started ESNC, we did so because we saw parents crying alone, children being misunderstood, and cultural barriers preventing access to critical services. I remember one mother who told me with tears streaming down her face, "Before ESNC, I thought I was alone in this world." The memory still moves me today. Every day, we witness the pain of exclusion and the joy of belonging. We see the light in a child's eyes when they are truly understood for the first time. We feel the relief in the parents' shoulders when they finally find a community that speaks their language, both literally and figuratively. Our work is personal. It's about real families with real dreams. It's about the father who feared his autistic son would never find acceptance in our community, now beaming with pride as his child showcases his artistic talents. It's about the mother who once hid her daughter's diagnosis out of cultural shame, now leading support groups for other parents. This proclamation recognizes not just an organization, but a movement of families refusing to accept the status quo. It honors every parent who has stayed up all night researching resources, every child who has bravely faced a world not designed for them, and every community member who has opened their heart to understanding. As we continue this journey together, we carry the hopes and dreams of our community members. We are grateful for the county's partnership and support in transforming lives. Today, we don't just accept the recognition, we embrace it with our whole hearts and renewed passion for creating a Montgomery County where everyone truly belongs. Thank you.
One of our many amazing organizations that is helping our young students, parents, and community members that are dealing with autism spectrum disorder. Next, we're going to hear from X Minds Board President Sue Keisler. Where's Sue? Can't be about acceptance and not move the mic.
Okay, so first I want to thank Council Vice President Jawando.
There you go.
I want to thank Council Vice President Jawando for hosting this event and for inviting our organizations to talk briefly about our work. I want to thank you for being a leader in the autism community, and also specifically for in the past year, your efforts to address the issue of children who are autistic wandering into dangerous situations. I also want to thank our County Executive, Mark Elrich, for his strong support of the County Commission on People with Disabilities. So I'm Sue Keisler, and I'm representing the organization called X-Minds, which is short for Partnership for Extraordinary Minds. Our core mission is to address a problem that is familiar to anyone who has a child with a disability. Under federal law, a child with a disability is entitled to accommodations and specialized education in their public school. But parents frequently find that the support their school is willing to offer doesn't come close to meeting their child's needs. If kids don't get the support they need at school, they won't be successful or happy. And that's a problem in itself, but it also sets up for a longer-term concern because children who are miserable and failing at school won't be as ready for employment and independence when they graduate. X-Minds was established by parents of autistic kids in Montgomery County to help empower other caregivers of autistic students to advocate successfully for the special education supports their kids need. We empower parents and caregivers in several ways. We offer individual consults to answer their questions about navigating special education. We host a speaker series with monthly webinars that include autistic voices and cover important topics like how to handle bullying. And we maintain a website full of resources about MCPS programs and many other topics, including one of our most popular, a guide to autism-friendly summer camps. But we know that parents and caregivers need more than just information. They need a supportive community and connections to other caregivers who can share their experience. That's why we sponsor parent discussion groups and playground meetups and social events for autistic teens. And through these efforts, families are finding social connections and nurturing support, not only for the parents, but also for their kids. And everything that X-Minds offers is completely free. Any family of an autistic student is welcome to make use of our resources and participate in our community without cost. Our goal is for autistic students to have the same opportunity to thrive at school as any neurotypical kid. And we have found that the hundreds of families that participate with X-Minds every year are much better able to support their child at home and so much more able to get their child's needs met at school. Those parents and caregivers can be their child's best advocate, and their kids are getting a real chance to thrive. Thank you again, Council Vice President Jawando and County Executive Eldridge for everything you're doing for autistic kids and their families.
All right, our final speaker, and then we will read the proclamation, is Blue Runway for Autism, Linda Carpenter Grantham and Eric Grantham, to talk briefly about the great victory that just happened last week.
Good morning. I am Linda Carpenter Grantham, and this is my amazing son, Eric Bless Carpenter Grantham. Thank you so much, Vice President Will Jawando, and thank you so much, County Executive Mark Elrich, for your amazing letter that you sent in support of Eric's ID law. Thank you to every person in Montgomery County, Washington, D.C., Virginia, and everywhere else who gave support to Eric's ID law. I'm a single mother of an amazing 20-year-old son standing here who is highly functioning autistic. I had a conversation with my son once I realized that more and more people of color are being hurt, harmed, and killed when being stopped by the police and having an invisible disability. So I sat Eric down at my table and I had a conversation with him. And I said, Eric, should you be stopped by the police, put your hands up. Don't reach for your phone to call me. That could be dangerous. Yell out I have autism. Yell out my number and yell out someone call my mom. Eric started to cry. He said, Mom, I could do that, but the police would shoot my friends that have autism. Please just think about that for a moment, because everybody is different on the spectrum. Everybody responds differently in certain situations, and especially out of fear. Eric said, Mom, we got to do something, and we got to do something now. I said, well, what do you want to do? Eric has always been a person who loves politics and God. Those are his passions. He came to me later. He said, Mom, I have an idea. I would like to put something on Maryland state IDs or driver's licenses that will let the police know that we have an invisible disability. Down here in this corner, you see a butterfly, very colorful. Eric drew that, and he drew 3 others, one for autism, one for hearing impaired, one for mental health, and this butterfly for all hidden disabilities. At that point, I said, Eric, I am so proud of you. He said, Mom, can you take me to Congress? I need to speak to Miss Nancy Pelosi, who was the House Speaker at that time, about bills or laws that could help me and my friends and everyone else in the world that have an invisible disability like me to be safe should we be stopped by law enforcement. I said, Eric, I'm going to do my best to get you there. So we met with our Maryland State Senator Will C. Smith, and he decided to write the bill. He loved the idea. Well, it didn't pass the first time last year. It didn't go through because of some opposition. Okay, we prayed about that. We winded up going on to The View with Miss Whoopi Goldberg. We winded up going on to the Sherry Shepherd Show, where we received over 1 million views and comments about, please make this legal in our state as well. We need this. We're concerned for our loved ones that have disabilities or autistic or mental health or bipolar, dementia, all these invisible disabilities. So that's what Eric and I have been doing. We are so happy to report that this bill has passed in the state of Maryland. Unanimously. Not only did it pass, we had an extra 48 delegates to support this bill and an extra 13 senators to support this bill. We say thank you to everyone, and our next mission is to get to Congress to make this worldwide. We need your support. Please support us. Please meet my son, Eric.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Eric. Thank you, Vice President Will Jawando, for inviting me and my mom to speak on Autism Awareness Month. I'm Eric Bless Carpenter Grantham. I am a proud 20-year-old, and I have highly functioning autistic. I created the law, Eric's ID law. I created this law because I wanted to protect people like me with a visible disability should we ever be stopped by law enforcement. I have made the hidden disability logo that is a butterfly that represents hope, peace, freedom, and change. And inside of the butterfly of the wings are the colors that represent for all hidden disabilities. Senate Bill SB 618 passed on April the 1st, and House Bill 707 just passed yesterday, while all delegates and senators voting yes for the bill. We were honored to have 48 extra co-sponsors for the House and 13 senators who co-sponsored for the bill for the Senate, which include the Maryland Senate President, Bill Ferguson. I want to thank Montgomery County Council and County Executive Mark Elrich for your support for Eric's ID law. Happy Autism Awareness Month, everyone. Thank you all, and God bless you all.
All right. We are going to read this proclamation. I just want to acknowledge we have great law enforcement partners here who are one of the best in the country at recognizing when folks have an intellectual disability like autism. Now they're going to see it right on the ID, and that training is going to kick in even earlier. We have MCPS here. We have the Maryland Department of Disability. We have the Autism Society of Maryland, Community Support Services. We have Madison House, who has their great online breakfast, right, Jalen, coming up this week. We have Christopher Drayton from CSAC, the Ivymont School, Up County Community Resources, Jen Lynn I saw here, Community Support Services, Blue Runway for Autism we mentioned, X-Minds, and EESNC. We have so many great organizations. I just wanted to make sure they all got mentioned. Please give them all a round of applause. All right, and we'll start this off. Whereas autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a complex lifelong developmental condition that typically appears during early childhood and can impact a person's social, communication, and self-regulation skills, as well as their relationships. Today, 1 in 36 children are born and diagnosed with ASDE, and more than 7 million residents in the United States are on the autism spectrum. And
whereas the theme of Autism Acceptance Month in 2025 is Celebrate Differences, which invites us to rejoice in neurodivergence and all the ways autism expands our understanding of the human experience. Autistic individuals of all ages face unique challenges and possess unique talents and perspectives that contribute enormously to our society. And
whereas Montgomery County has a long history of investing and partnering with agencies and dedicated organizations that provide high-quality direct support and services to autistic individuals and their families to create a strong network of resources, and by promoting direct communication among families and private and public organizations about programs and services, and by establishing the Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities Commission, the IDC, to provide best practice recommendations to the county for all individuals and families. And
whereas Autism Acceptance Month emphasizes the need for public awareness to promote acceptance and prioritize the full inclusion of autistic individuals and their families. Acceptance and inclusion can range from life-saving efforts, including preventing tragedies like drowning and elopement, to life-enhancing ones like connecting residents to valuable resources and providing new pathways for understanding. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Executive, Mark Elrich, and the County Council of Montgomery County hereby celebrate the month of April 2025 as Autism Acceptance Month and presented this day, the 8th of April in the year 2025.
all right. Yay. You get that one.